Welcome to News with a View, a Fat Cat production, hosted by me, Fat Cat, John A. Costa. Today is October 7th, 2025, and this is episode 142. I didn't put that in my notes. All right. Today, we're going to talk about the loony leftist Democrats in Chicago and in Portland, Oregon, that have now proved President Trump to be correct in his assessment of being able to enforce the Insurrection Act. You have people, non-citizens, and with the aid of citizens, doing criminal acts against government officials with the intent of stopping the government from functioning, the federal government from functioning. Now, you can say that, no, these are peaceful protesters, or these are, it's a riot. It's no different than January 6th. Well, if it's no different than January 6th, where you called it an insurrection, guess what this is? You can't attack police officers, and that's what ICE are, they're federal police. You can't attack them, surround them, shoot at them, throw gasoline on them, and then have the aid of citizens in their attempt to evade capture and detention, illegals. That is what insurrection is about, folks. You have Governor Pritzker, biggest putts, screaming how they're going to use every lever to stop the federal government from sending in troops to protect ICE. Reports from news media outlets stating that the Chicago Police Department were told to stand down and not render any assistance to the ICE agents who were being surrounded by a mob. Now, if that is factual, then Governor Pritzker must resign his office, as well as the Mayor Johnson of Chicago and the Superintendent of Police of Chicago. It's that simple, folks. You can't do this and not think there's not going to be a consequence. Already one protester who rammed the ICE agents' cars was shot by ICE. And that was the direct result of not having police protection for the ICE agents. So, and the people following the ICE agents and knowing where they're going to be, and that's a whole different spin on things. But I'm telling you right now, folks, this is a bad day for Chicago, and it's just a really bad look. And you can't say that this is not an insurrection. You can't say it. Liberals, you can't say it. If you called January 6th an insurrection, then this must be an insurrection also. And what does that trigger, folks? Trump's ability to enforce law and order where those governors or those mayors and those police departments won't do it. This is going to go for Oregon too. You can't be burning buildings and rioting like they're doing and not call it anything but that. And if the police departments were to give aid to ICE, you might be able to say, well, okay, it's the police department's not involved with it, or the mayor is not involved with it, or whatever. But when you have mayors and governors saying, no, we're not going to offer it, we're not going to give it, we believe that the rights of the illegals must be, and once you do that, once you make that crossover, that's insurrection. And if you don't think that that's not insurrection, you better bone up on it. Because that's exactly why it was made a law that the president could act on. So, the liberal loonies and their cause is going to be disastrous. All this is going to be used during the 2026 elections, where we're going to just keep putting this out there. And when I say we, it's going to be the Republican Party. We're just going to keep replaying all this stuff in every ad and saying whatever Democrat that's running for office, they supported insurrection. They supported the shutdown. They were the cause of the shutdown, the Democrats. Now, if there is a person running who has never served in elected office for the Democrats, I would say, that doesn't pertain to them as long as they condemn what was going on. And if they condemn it, these might be the Democrats you want to put in office. But if they don't condemn it, if they condone it, you guys don't stand a chance. Both Chicago and Portland have out-of-control crime, drug use, and gang problems. Both of those cities, Portland, and for that fact the state, and Illinois, has a huge illegal, I don't even want to call them immigrants. They're not immigrants. They're illegal insurrectionists. They are trespassers. So, you know what I'm going to call them? Trespassers. And I'm not talking about the ones that have green cards. I'm not talking about the ones that are in the system, legitimately here, legitimately seeking citizenship. Those that have followed the rules. Not talking about them. They get every protection that we can possibly give them. But the mayors of Portland and Chicago refused to address the criminal element issue. And you could just see in Chicago, it's out of control. Portland, out of control. They just refuse to serve and protect. And yes, you can have protests. Absolutely. 24/7, have them all you want. But if you're burning things, if you're charging at the police, if you're charging at federal police, if you're trying to destroy government property, well, and you're not a citizen, that's insurrection with the aid of citizens standing right next to you. And if the police are mandated not to interfere, that's insurrection. That's just not doing your job. That's insurrection. And when this is presented to the robes, it'll be a 6-3 in favor of Trump. And maybe 7-2 in favor of Trump. And you'll have people, well, you know, the 10th Amendment says the government doesn't have to, follow the laws of the states don't have to follow the laws of the federal government. That's not what the 10th Amendment says. That is not the meaning inside that. There are powers of the federal government that are powers of the federal government. There's powers of the state, which are the state. And those are the state constitutions. They're talking about states' constitutions. They're not talking about not following any federal law. They don't have to follow it. What it is, it was affirming that every state has the right to their own constitution, but inside that constitution cannot conflict with the laws of the United States federal government, the Constitution. That's what the 10th Amendment says when they say that. You know, people look at that, and there's even been some court cases, and that's going to be totally revisited, folks. I'm telling you. What is going on in Chicago, what is going on in Portland, that's insurrection. I think that the governor, what is her name, Kotek, Tina Kotek, that's the governor of Oregon. Of course, Jay Pritzker of Illinois, who was a presidential hopeful, or, you know, he was looking and testing the waters out. He'll be lucky if he stays governor. Chicago, if it is proven that the police were ordered to stand down and not give assistance, they violated their own rules and regulations and can be sued. Every agent of the federal government that was there can sue the Chicago Police Department. And whereas there's language in there that states that the Chicago Police Department is committed to protect the rights of all persons. Well, all persons is also ICE agents, right? Right? Doesn't say the citizens of Chicago, it says all persons. And that people should be free from criminal attacks. I think if you looked at the Chicago Police Department's mission statement, that might be up there in line number 5 and 6 of the first bullet item. And if they have failed to do that, they could be held legally responsible for any trauma caused by the attack against ICE. And I would go as far as the person that ICE shot could sue the city of Chicago. Under today's, laws, sure, why not? You have Pritzker saying that the police are there not to protect ICE, but to protect the protesters from overzealous ICE agents. So a car being used as a weapon to ram the police, or the cars being used to box in the police, which is a threatening, just so you know, with the police, that's a threatening act. That's not the act of, it is the act of setting up an ambush. And if you were the police, you must think, I'm being boxed in here so I can't escape. It's an ambush. And being done by citizens who are helping trespassers, that's insurrection. It's insurrection. It's exactly, it just comes right back to it. And all these moron politicians and these communist groups are doing is cementing President Trump's use of some very powerful powers. And you have no idea who's ever informing the Democrats, who is whatever group is running the Democrats. Normal Democrats would go, we need new leadership. We need new people here because what's being done is going to destroy us all. And right there, what they're doing is a direct attack against the republic and the democracy that the liberals and progressives and Democrats, which are all now lumped into the same category, are screaming that Trump was going to take away. And again, the progressives, which are Democrats, absolutely have no idea what they're even talking about. They are just so now out of control that there is no reasoning with them. And you're trying to reason with, you can reason with persons that can use reason. But when you're mentally ill or out of control like these people are, there is no reasoning with them. There is absolutely no reasoning with them. You have the left ratcheting up things. You have a person running in Virginia who is running for the Attorney General's office, who said that he would like to shoot in the head his opponents and their families. And no backtracking on that. No Democrat has really called for saying to these people, you can't run for that office. You got to get out of the race. Not one Democrat of importance has come out and condemned what that guy has said. You have a state district judge in South Carolina here whose home was caught on fire, and they're trying to say that that is MAGA people who did that. There's no proof of any of that because she had sided with in the case of releasing voter information, which she had been overruled, and that information has been given to the government. And the government has it already. It doesn't matter. She lost, but her husband, who was a state senator from South Carolina, they were in the house with their family, and they narrowly escaped some injuries. And I mean, horrible. A house fire is a horrible, horrible thing. And if you saw the pictures of their house, I mean, it was like something out of a movie, in flames. Very dramatic and, heartbreaking to see that is someone's home, and they literally escaped with their clothes on their backs. And to turn around and to say that, it was Trump's rhetoric of judges and bad judges. I did a show on Sunday where I said we have a lot of bad judges. Vote them out. That was my thing. Vote them out. Get them out of office. Don't hurt anyone. No violence. Because violence will beget violence. Just the way that works, folks, if you don't understand that. And, you don't be violent. You don't shy away from, you protect yourself, but you don't go out of your way to create violence. You can react to violence, but you don't create it. I think what is going on in Chicago and Portland is systemic to the Democrats' whole agenda in the last 15 years. Their agenda is just, rioting if they don't get their way and calling it social justice. Or out there in the left-end part of the world, the summer of love. I mean, this is what we're dealing with. And the American people had had enough of that and elected Donald Trump, because Donald Trump was saying, this is crazy world. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to stop. I'm going to shore up our borders. I'm going to make our military strong. A man is a man. A woman is a woman. I don't have to be part of your fantasy. I don't have to go, well, if you want to think you're a girl and you're a guy, or you're a girl who thinks they're a guy or a guy that thinks they're a girl, well, yeah, you know what? As an employer, as a government, I don't have to. I don't have to accept you for a job. I don't have to accept you for anything but the fact that you have rights. The same rights I have as a man, you have as a man who thinks they're a woman, but just in those rights. It's not, you don't jump over other people for jobs. You can't say, well, because I'm wearing a dress, he won't hire. No, I'm not hiring you because you're a guy that thinks they're a girl, and yeah, I don't agree with that reasoning. And as such, I don't think you'll be a fit into my company. So, the idea that we have to cater to these people or go out of our way or make them special people, they're not special people. They're people. They are people that are confused on who they are, but they are people. So, you don't get any special rights, you don't get any special treatments, and because of a lot of people going, all right, I'm not going to argue with this because I'm trying to reason with someone that can't even figure out who the freak they are. How am I going to get my point across to them that, they're nuts? So we roll our eyes and we go, yeah, whatever. Well, we're done rolling our eyes and going, enough. Now, just go do your own thing. No, because your own thing now became, you want me to be part of that. And we're not doing that. We are not doing that. And this is all part of this whole democratic thing. Fight, fight, fight. Cause chaos. Sow dissentment. You have businesses that have been driven out of business because of the left. They go into the stores, they rob them. They steal from them. And people go, well, they got insurance. No, you don't have insurance for that. If they burn the place down, you might have insurance. Try getting insurance nowadays, a small business. Try getting liability insurance. And so what happens, they move out of those areas. They move out of those areas and they go, can't do business there. And they move to a friendlier state. And now, there's no grocery stores. We got no grocery stores here. Well, because you robbed them blind. Because you created problems. You sold drugs in front of those stores, and the police didn't do anything about it. Because anytime they did something about it, it was always, oh, you're doing it because of the color of my skin. And there's no winning that. There's no winning that. And so they go, you know what? Sell drugs in front of the store. And people that pull up and go, well, I'm not passing that. I'll drive to the next town over. and that store goes out of business. And the people that, were stuck using that store now have no place to go. But the person like me who goes, you know what, I was going to the other town because I didn't have to put up with that crap. I'd care less. That's your problem. And that's what is going on. So I'm going to make this a short show today. Like I said, I will not be doing a show. I was going to do some live doing some scheduled stuff, but no. So I'm going to cut this down to about 32 minutes and put this show up today, and then that's it till next Wednesday. Well, actually, next Thursday. So for the next 8 days, there will not be any shows. And that's beyond anything I can do. I doubt if I will be able to even, do anything for a show, no matter what. So I will be unavailable. But if you've gotten this far in my podcast, please subscribe, like, comment. As I always say, you want to know what the other guy is thinking. Because then you could strategize. But on this stuff, you Democrats are gone. Gone. You have no hope for 2026, and honestly, I don't see any hope for you for 2028. I don't care who you bring out, Shapiro, Newsom, Beta. It doesn't matter who you bring out. You ain't winning. And my guess is that you're going to have a huge setback in 2026. Even more than you had in 2024. So, all right. With that, please give to a charity if you can do it. Make sure it's a bona fide charity. Don't be a victim helping a victim. If you're uncomfortable with that, think about giving to a food bank that helps people locally and you know that's going out right in your own community. Say a prayer. Prayer works regardless of what Democrats tell you. And with that, for the next 8 days, be good. And I will come back on the following Thursday. I should be up and running. Up and running. So, and with that, I am going to fade to